rolling help?
It helps.
Where's your gun?
It helps.
Hi everybody, it's time to talk about infantry combat, and if you remember my interview with General Kenyon, there's less and less infantry all the time as there are more and more avenues of attack. There's missiles and tanks and all this kind of stuff, but infantry will always be necessary because you can liberate territory with an aircraft, but to occupy it, you have to use your infantry. They have to be there to occupy it. And to capture something, you have to go in and take possession of it. That's infantry. So there will always be a need for infantry, no matter how advanced the civilization. So this time, rather than going through the historical precedent, let's go ahead and skip right to the sci-fi groups. And I wanted to look at a few examples that show, are they using a certain logic to their movements? Are they not? Are they just waving guns around and stuff? Are they using appropriate equipment? There might be a few lessons to learn from certain ones as well, so let's go. Okay, now note how all the Marines jumped out and they took cover, except for Drake and Vasquez. More on that in a minute.
First squad up, on line. Hicks, get yours in accord and watch the rear.
Vasquez, take point. Let's...
Okay, a couple of things here. Vasquez, take point. Now, they're about to go through the door. I mean, is it ladies first? No, Vasquez is the machine gunner, and she's always going to take point. See, there are two squads. Note what the lieutenant said. First squad, second squad. The first squad is commanded by the sergeant, and his machine gunner is Vasquez. The second squad is commanded by Hicks. His machine gunner is Drake. So they're separating the platoon into squads of about a half a dozen Marines each, and they're about to move in. Vasquez taking point because she's the machine gunner.
Move up.
Second squad, move up. Flanking positions.
Second squad online.
Okay, so what you see here, second squad, commanded by Hicks, which I think is here, but Drake takes point for second squad because he's the machine gunner. The first thing you see as the door opens is Vasquez pointing a machine gun at you. So that's because, again, she's the machine gunner. So if anybody jumps out right here and says, surprise, the joke is on them. So that's why they deploy this way. And again, Drake came up and flanked beside Vasquez. Right there. So Vasquez is the sergeant's machine gunner. So she probably almost always takes point because the sergeant's going to be the second in the door behind her.
You said.
So again, the sergeant, Apone, and Hudson open the door and follow Vasquez in. And she's always going to go first. Here we see again Vasquez in front, troops flanking out to the sides, and Hudson, since he's doing the motion tracking, is following along behind her. Again, everything keys off her. And we see one guy head off to the side here with a flamethrower. That's just showing, and saw this guy had a pulse rifle. That's just showing some of the combined arms tactics these guys use. I wouldn't want to be standing in front of this guy. He'd have to go ahead of me with the flamethrower.
Okay, Dietrich, faster up.
There's another flamethrower. And again, here we see Drake is Hicks' machine gunner. Hicks is using his motion tractor. He's following along behind Drake. Again, Drake takes point. He's the machine gunner.
Yo, Hicks.
So this gentleman here, who unfortunately doesn't live very long, I don't recall his name, he's carrying a flamethrower and a motion tracker, but also note strapped to his chest here several grenades. So that's something to note there. Again, combined arms. But he's picking up something, and note how they deploy.
Talk to me, Frosty. Let's keep.
So again, the first thing that happens is Drake jumps out in front because he's the machine gunner. The guy behind him is the one carrying the motion tracker, so he can guide the machine gunner where to go. Then Hicks just behind him because he is in command here. The lieutenant's back there, but Hicks is in command of the squad.
On a straight B deployment. Second.
Again, note the first people to come out front are Drake and Vasquez because they're the machine gunners. And note how they drove the APC right up inside the building. That way, or at least the plan is, they have a secure location to fall back to. And of course, the APC is used as a mobile command center where the lieutenant stays in there and he can see what they're all doing through their cameras and radio feed and all that kind of stuff. But they drove it right up inside the building. Again, note the last people out. The first people in and the last people out are Drake and Vasquez. Again, for the same reasons, they're covering the retreat. Now, I note there that Drake had a flamethrower. He's really carrying a lot of stuff. But that's the next best thing after the machine gun for covering their escape. As he's the last one out, there's no one standing in front of him. So that's the next best thing. But anyway, there's a lot of thought that's put into the movement of the troops in this movie. They don't just run out there and do this or do that. There's a lot of thought put into it, and it's consistent through the movie. So anyway, let's move on to the next one.
We've got a couple hundred meters and 5 decks to go before we reach command. As soon as we're armed, we move out. Advance by leapfrog, covering in rotation. You got it?
Advance by leapfrog. Covering in rotation.
So the advance by leapfrog, one covers while the other advances, then they switch and they just make their way by leapfrog down the hall. And unfortunately, though, we see later they're just standing there shooting at Magog, but that's not an entirely bad way to do it since the Magog are not armed. For an advanced spacefaring race, I'm not sure how bright the Magog are there. They're just running into gunfire, and that's a really good way to get yourself killed. They won due to superior numbers, but I'm not sure that's the way I want to do it, just be cannon fodder there. And then later we saw our heroes similarly standing in the hall just shooting at the opponent, but this time they were armed. That's certainly exciting to watch, but I'm not sure how realistic it is. They're just standing there in the open, not taking cover of any kind, and there were corners and things, and just mowing down the opponent. I mean, did nobody on the opponent side have a machine gun, a flamethrower, or a grenade, or anything?
That was effective. We got him right where we want him. Okay, backup plan. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Come on!
I can't. I want it point blank.
Ivanova, you got a fix on my position?
Confirmed. On our way.
No, negative. Triangulate your fire and stand by. I want to set up a kill zone, point blank.
We got it, Amos.
Note here that they outflanked the opponent and set up a crossfire, and nobody ran out in the open in either of these examples until the opponent was either gone or defeated.
Stop! Watch it! Get down! Behind you! Go! Up there!
When the shooting starts, they immediately take cover. And security is using carbines and body armor, which is appropriate. And they cover each other's advance. And when they go around corners, they dart around the corner and then take up cover again. It's very logical. Now, unfortunately, it quickly devolves into hand-to-hand combat in Babylon 5. I wonder, is it an ammo issue? But they're hitting each other with the gun, which doesn't make any sense to me. But the first half of the battle is usually very logical like that, with taking cover, appropriate movements. Contrast that with Andromeda that we just saw, where the heroes are just standing in the hall, just shooting at the opponent, standing there in the open. By contrast, they put a lot more thought into this. So let's take a look at the Rangers. Not taking anything away from the Rangers, they're very good at what they do. You don't want to take them on hand to hand. But realistically, if you come at me with a staff, I'm just going to shoot you. Here we have something we discussed in the small arms section. They were taking on a metal robot with their pistols, and they just couldn't do enough damage to take it out until Apollo hit it with a grenade. It has a little grenade launcher on the bottom of the pistol. Minus that grenade, it could have gotten ugly because the Cylon was pretty much having its way. Here we see the first thing that happens when a guy jumps up is he gets killed. And that's realistic.
Get him up! Get him up! Get in there! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Oh, get in here!
things I noticed here are they did make a big deal out of finding cover behind this concrete wall, and that's good. And they were shooting through the holes. That's good. And the Cylons were jamming their frequencies using ECM, so that's good. On the other hand, you may have noticed all the mortar rounds going off around them. We saw the mortars different points in that battle. So as soon as the Cylons had their location, they were done for, because you can lob a mortar right over that concrete wall and kill everyone on the other side. Fortunately for our heroes, the Cylons called the battle off and bugged out.
Now.
Here our heroes use the high ground and a choke point to their advantage, along with explosives. We discussed terrain previously. It's very important even in the sci-fi environment. And note that the first guy that just jumped up got shot immediately. Note here what each group is carrying. We recently covered small arms. The older Cylons are carrying heavy rifles, and the humans are carrying submachine guns and a few assault rifles. Under ideal conditions, that's backward, in my opinion. You see, you don't need a 7-foot robot with a 6-foot rifle to take out a 5-foot woman. Okay, a lot of people might be surprised by this, but as a hunter, I can tell you that humans are a lot more delicate than most game animals. For instance, an AR-15, which is the civilian version of an M16, it's the same thing, just semi-automatic, is too small to hunt deer. That's what's been in the news so much lately, because it takes out humans with frightening efficiency. It's too small to hunt deer. It's actually illegal in a lot of states because it's not enough power. You're just going to injure it. Humans are very delicate, and that's why body armor is so important. Humans are very delicate, and it helps mitigate that a bit. For example, what if Goliath had been wearing a helmet? So really the Cylon, being large already and fighting in these close quarters, really needs something that's smaller and easier to handle. That heavy rifle just takes up too much space. The humans, on the other hand, they're taking on a 7-foot robot, and it takes like the whole clip of a submachine gun to take them out. So they really need something that's heavier and can take them out more efficiently. Here's an idea. There's a monster that can withstand sustained artillery fire. So let's run right up to it with our small arms well within its reach.
Captain, there's a group of life forms up in the cliffs. Range 75 meters, elevation 30 meters.
That's where I'd be. Are they Jem'Hadar?
I think so.
Well, let's not make it easy for them. Tell the chief to head toward that large outcropping of rocks at 10 o'clock. Walk, don't run.
Chief. We need to make those rocks
I can't take it.
This is a good example for several reasons. First off, we're given a range, 75 meters, and our heroes continued to advance, so it was less than 75 meters by the time they got to cover. And note, the visuals look like a long distance. That shows how deceptive the visuals can be, because it looked like it could be maybe half a mile or something, but it's less than 75 meters. Each side fired off dozens of shots, and there were no casualties. A couple of the Jem'Hadar couldn't shroud anymore, but there were no stun shots and there were no fatalities. Each side fired dozens of times. So do we chalk that up to poor marksmanship? I mean, you can certainly miss even with the phaser there, but no, it's because each side was under cover. And we're not talking about motivation here, we're talking about the result. The Jem'Hadar were operating under treasonous orders by their Vorta, but the result. In the previous example, both sides were under cover, and they fired dozens of times, no casualties. This time, our heroes were under cover, and they had the high ground, and they were armed appropriately with rifles. The Jem'Hadar were in a wide open field, not much cover to be had. They're standing upright and in a tight group where you can focus and concentrate your fire. And it was a slaughter. So that demonstrates effectively the importance of taking cover. Even if you just dive behind some bushes, it's better than just standing up in the open or running directly into gunfire. That's a good way to get killed. Our heroes are actually remorseful. It was too easy. They knew the Jem'Hadar were ordered to do this, and it just turns their stomach to have to do that. Too easy. They would rather fight it out fair and square. So why do we see that in so many of our favorite programs, including this one, where they just charge into gunfire and are effective at it? It doesn't make any sense. The phasers are really nice rifles. I want one. But that has nothing to do with the victory here. It's the tactical situation that you've set up. It kind of reminds me of a couple instances in the American Civil War. Gettysburg with Pickett's Charge and Fredericksburg with Marie's Heights.
They still believed that to take a position, you massed your men and moved up and gave them the bayonet. Well, there were practically no bayonet wounds in the Civil War, much more than there were in the First World War or the Second. They never came in that kind of contact, or at least very seldom came in that kind of contact. But they still thought that to mass their fire, they had to mass their men. So they lined up and marched up toward an entrenched line and got blown away.
"14 assaults were beaten back from Marie's Heights before Burnside decided it could not be taken. 9,000 men fell before the Confederate guns."
So here with muzzle loading rifles, and of course they had cannons, but they were muzzle loaders as well. These weren't even repeating weapons. You can't advance across a wide open field. And at Marie's Heights, 14 charges were beaten back. That's consistent. So why do we see constant charging against machine guns and things like that? World War I proved that you can't do that. On the Western Front, they had the whole problem with trench warfare that lasted for years. The only thing that broke that stalemate was the advent of the tank. They had to build this big steel behemoth to cross no man's land and engage the enemy at close range. That's why tanks exist today. Let's take a look at similar mistakes in Saving Private Ryan.
Sandbag bunker right under the station. See it?
Yeah, it's my guess too. What is it? Machine gun, probably MG-42.
Jesus, is that what got those guys? Maybe one of them's on point.
No, their patches are 82nd, so your luck's not that good.
Yeah, I don't know how fast the rest of you betties are, but I'm thinking we detour this way, quick and quiet, the Krauts will never even know we were here. So, Captain, what I'm trying to say is why don't we just go around the thing?
I hear what you're saying. We can't go around it.
I'm with Robin on this one, sir. I mean, we left them 88s.
For the Air Force. The Air Force isn't going to spin ordnance on one machine gun.
Captain, we can still skip it and accomplish our mission. I mean, this isn't our mission, right, sir?
Oh, that's what you want to do, Malish? You just want to leave it here so they can ambush the next company that comes along?
No, sir, that's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying it seems like an unnecessary risk given our objective, sir.
Our objective is to win the war.
Sir, I just, I don't have a good feeling about this one.
When was the last time you felt good about anything? All right. Three runners with suppressing fire. Mellish, you hook to the right, I'll go up to middle. Who's going left? Who's going left?
I'll do it. I'll go left.
All right. Up and switch off with Jackson. And you linger in the rear.
Yes.
We advance and keep pressure on him until he has to change out his barrels. I think we should be able to hit him from grenade range.
Maybe I should go up middle, sir.
The way you run, I don't think so.
Maybe I should go left, sir.
Maybe you should shut up. Ryben, base of fire. Mags and clips where you can reach him, and extra grenades for the base runners.
Now, I'm not taking anything away from Saving Private Ryan. I think it's one of the great movies of our time. But in this instance, I think Captain Miller made a mistake. All of the men in the squad thought it was a mistake, except for him. They were facing an MG-42, one of the great machine guns of its time, in a sandbag bunker, light fortification. And his answer was to send 3 people running up the hill and charge it on foot. Did they wait until the cover of darkness and hit this small fortification from the sides or the rear and throw some grenades in there and surprise them? No. They ran in broad daylight, just charged it. They had a sniper. Did they put him up a tree and have him take the guys out one at a time? Or better yet, shoot the machine gun? Because he was carrying a 30-06, which would probably blow the machine gun in half. No, they didn't do that. They took their sniper, took his sniper rifle away, gave him an M1, and sent him running up the hill toward a machine gun. I'm not a soldier, but that's pretty bad tactics. The worst thing you can do is charge a machine gun. Now note these guys were walking for the whole movie. They're just going to walk across Europe. Modern infantry is mechanized infantry. You don't have massive formations of troops just walking across the continent. They'd have a vehicle, probably an armored vehicle. Let's say it's a Bradley. Well, a Bradley could charge up that hill and take out that machine gun position easily. It's armored. It has an autocannon which can blow away that sandbag bunker easily and from a distance. Has missiles, but you wouldn't even need that. Or they could just charge up a machine gun on them. So it'd be easy, and they'd ride across Europe, a driver and a commander and all the other guys sitting in the back in a heated or air-conditioned space. So anyway, that's APCs and AFVs for you.
Take cover.
I told you it was a clip!
Janeway, Chicote.
I'm here, Captain. We're pinned down.
I can see you from here. Lay down phaser fire. I'm going to circle around to your left. Try to come at them from the rear.
Right.
Hold your fire. Drop your weapons. Turn around slowly.
That makes a little more sense. The first thing they did was take cover, and they kept the opponent's attention focused on the guys in front while the captain circled around behind, outflanked them, and caught them in a crossfire. There are any number of things you can do in combat that don't involve standing up in the open and staring down the barrels of your opponent's guns.
Move now. All right, stick right. Everybody hold yourself, Jets. Hold on. Free line. Form in. Form in. Catch up with the Fury. Now catch up.
On my line, guys. On my line.
What else? Team low. We're already drifting. Straight. Slow. You got bodies.
Think left of me. Guys on the floor. Get up. Forward! Forward! Straight out. Watch your basic. We got our left stick now. All right, let's hold up. If I say hold back, hold back. Hold back. Left stick, what the fuck? Big rear on the right. Speed up just a little bit.
Hit that machine gun.
Traverse left.
800.
Steady.
On.
Fire!
One. Hit him. Look forward. Look at your periscope. Periscope. On. Fire! On the line. Ceasefire. Target destroyed.
Fire! Anti-tank, AT, traverse left. Traverse left!
Just a ricochet. We're okay. Heads on tank, left front.
Got it. Down 15.
Ready. Fire! On the line! 600! Fire! On the line!
Okay, ceasefire, target destroyed.
Fire!
There's another gun. Who's got eyes on it?
Eyes up, everybody.
Fire! I don't see shit. Where the f*** you at?
Heads on tank, 18.
Got it. Anti-tank, 18, traverse right.
Left front, 600. Right stick. Hit those fuckers.
Fire! On the line! Hit him.
All tanks, start squirting that tree line. Let's light them up. Let's go. Let's clean it up. You gotta reload! Hands and fouls! Hey, get him! Loading the gun. Get up! Loading the gun. Got him. Do your job! Do what you're here for! No, I was loading the gun!
Big guy, 12 o'clock, quarter, run their bastards over.
All tanks, hold here. Get your boys in the fight! Fire out! Marching fire!
Before armored fighting vehicles, this was a common tactic that was used. The tank would form the spearhead and the infantry would form the shaft. They'd follow along behind the tank. And it's a symbiotic relationship. The tank would go across the battlefield and take out the opponent's artillery, machine guns, and other heavy equipment. And the infantry would follow along behind the tank using it as mobile cover. And that's how you cross a wide open field, is behind a tank. But since a tank is vulnerable to flanking attack from infantry, the infantry following along behind it. So if someone jumps up with a Panzerfaust or a bazooka or an advanced sci-fi weapon or whatever, the infantry would see that and gun them down. So they protect the tank while the tank protects them. That's proper combined arms tactics. You use this and that together to hide each other's weaknesses and multiply each other's strengths. Let's compare to this. You see all the troops are flanking out beside the tank, and that can certainly protect its flanks, but nobody's behind it using the legs or anything like that for cover. And note this guy, he's walking along here out in the open, and he's carrying a heavy rifle. Now what he really needs if he's going to be doing this is a light machine gun. It would be spraying the terrain with walking fire. The heavy rifle is optimized for different things than a light machine gun. It's optimized for downrange accuracy and per shot firepower. Note that he's firing from the hip here, which negates the accuracy. So I'm not sure this is really the best setup right here. Probably I'd walk along behind these legs using them for cover. Stormtroopers dominated the rebels, let's see what each group had. The Stormtroopers had full head-to-toe body armor. They all had carbines. They have filtered masks that filters out the smoke. Blasters make a lot of smoke, and it filters it out. They don't choke on the smoke. Their eyes don't water and cloud their vision. It gives them enhanced vision so they can see through the smoke. And the rebels just had open face helmets and pistols. So the Stormtroopers are more well equipped. It's not that surprising that they won. But let's consider alternatives. Instead of just charging through the door with carbines, what if the first thing they did was toss a grenade in that hall? Or what if they tossed a flashbang in there and then charged through? Or what about gas grenades and just knock everybody out with the gas or clear the hall? What if the first guy through the door had a flamethrower and just torched the entire hallway? What if the first guy through the door had a light machine gun and he just sprayed the entire hallway with machine gun fire? So those are all probably better alternatives than just rushing through with carbines.
There's a base there, all right. Intensively guarded. At least 3 tank divisions, plus guns.
We'll advance along the central gorge and engage their forces in a full forward assault.
The gorge is narrow, sir. We'll only be able to move our platoons in single squads. Perhaps a closer recon will tell us if there's a more secure route.
Obi-Wan and the other battalions are holding off the enemy right now while they wait for us to take out this base. We don't have time to look for a more secure route.
We'll assemble the squads into 2 divisions. We'll move straight up this gorge towards the airbase at the far side. The casualties are going to be high.
Is Krill trying to get us killed?
You know, I wasn't sure that Krell was crazy before, but now I'm positive. We had to retreat from the capital because the general pushed a flawed strategy. Now this?
I don't know. Could be fun. Well, I, for one, agree with the general's plan. We're running out of time, and this is the best option.
No recon, no air support. We don't know what we're up against. They have weapons we've never seen before. A few of General Skywalker's plans seemed reckless too, but they worked. Yeah, but General Skywalker is usually leading his men up in the front, not bringing up the rear like General Krell. A full forward assault would leave us too exposed.
We have to look at other options. This is going to be a meat grinder.
But here we see General Krell is trying to get his men killed. He's forcing them into a straight-ahead frontal assault on foot. No recon, air support, tanks, anything like that. And the troopers are complaining about it because they have better tactical training and things. But that's the kind of thing we see in most of our favorite programs, including this one. It's just straight ahead infantry charge. Using some tactics for the troop movements didn't make Aliens less exciting. And even that doesn't match real life. In real life, the machine gunner doesn't take point, things like that. But I greatly appreciate that some thought was put into it. There is a logical progression to the movements and things like that. In real life, the career military officers that I know are very professional. They know as much about their career as I do about mine. And I appreciate when movies or TV shows make an effort to show that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this commentary. I'll see you next time.